Yo, what's up guys? So today we're going to be showcasing off a really cool variant of the Dragmas. This is a Supreme King Dragma deck, and it actually is pretty consistent to go ahead and pull off some of the combos, because a lot of the Dragma archetype, what they're able to do is go ahead and send cards from their extra deck to the graveyard to try to get some effect. Elder Entity in chests, or there's a lot of different cards that would activate some effects in the graveyard. The Ashen Dragon is pretty much the go-to card for majority of the plays. The deck doesn't have like a super boss monster, but that's about to change right now, and I think a lot of people will probably think about running some of these cards in their extra deck. So with support, you're able to basically set up your entire graveyard. You don't always have to do it, and I'll show you guys replays without it over here, but nonetheless, it's one of the more powerful plays in the deck. Rafflesia, the Predaplant, is going to go ahead and let you add Miracle Synchro Fusion, which basically means that if you happen to have multiple monsters in the extra deck, you're going to be able to summon the Supreme King Z-Arc over here, and this is going to go ahead and be very, very powerful because it pops everything, and then it's immune to being destroyed via card effects, and your opponent cannot target it. So it's a super boss monster. And on top of that, because that wasn't enough, if you destroy something, like for example, Winda can't be destroyed, but Supreme King Z-Arc will pop everything as soon as it comes out, and that actually worked in the person that was playing the Supreme King Z-Arc's favor, because if he destroys a monster by battle, he's going to be able to summon a Supreme King Dragon Clearwing. So that's just extra additional like win conditions here. But once this card goes away, if your opponent gets rid of this card, you get a bonus effect over here, because if this card in the monster zone is destroyed by battle by card effect, which it can't be, you can't get rid of it via card effect anyways, because it can't be destroyed by your opponent's card effects if they happen to negate the effect, okay? And remember, it also cannot be targeted, but let's say for whatever reason they get rid of this card, you're going to place it in your Pendulum Zone, and then Fusion, Synchro, and Exceed monsters your opponent controls cannot activate their effects, and then once per turn, when a card is added from the main deck to your opponent's hand, except during the draw phase or damage step, you can just destroy that card. So not only do you stop their extra deck even further, but on top of that, if they search out, you just pop the card, which is absolutely amazing. I mean, that was versus Orcish Shadals over there. But we've got a lot of different matchups over here. Let me go ahead and show you guys up against just a normal Dragma deck, because Dragmas are getting very popular, and I think it's a very good deck. I mean, it is an anti-extra deck, and for the most part, every Yu-Gi-Oh deck, with the exception of maybe like Gren Maju that most people are playing right now, they need the extra deck, or any deck that's running like, you know, Extravagance, but nonetheless, extra deck is very important in Yu-Gi-Oh. So, again, the main goal of the Dragma archetype, by the way, if I mouse over the card, you guys probably see that some of the cards don't have the text. Like if I mouse over this, it has the text, and this one doesn't have the text, and it also says question mark. So EDO Pro is really cool in the fact that if you watch a replay that normally would be broken, like it would normally error out, they no longer error out, but the text doesn't appear. Some cards, like for example, Ala Mirage, the text is really clear because I have the HD card pack, and I'll give you guys a video on that in the future on how to download all the Yu-Gi-Oh cards with HD artwork. But nonetheless, the text won't appear on the cards that have been changed, as in, there's usually bugs that get fixed in the game. But mainly what you're going to do is go for Chimera Rafflesia and add the Miracle Synchro Fusion. Now this does take one turn, but we'll get into another card that makes it so you don't really have to wait that turn, because, you know, obviously a lot of decks can OTK if you search out a card and you don't activate it immediately. You might not have access to it. But Supreme King Z-Arc going to be coming out. He's going to go special monster, doesn't matter. Pop in everything over here, and then we're just going to go ahead and slam all of our monsters and make a game. This card just pretty much automatically gives you a win over there. Let's go and show it up against the new Darklords over here. This has been a deck that I saw a lot of. As soon as it came out, a lot of people were messing around with the Darklords, but to be honest, it's Brick City. Now, again, the Dragmas actually have a few cards up their sleeve that are quite great. I didn't even think about mixing in, because one of them is a Spellcaster. We have, actually, there's the other Searcher, I believe, is a Spellcaster too. And this is the main card. Let's just go ahead and dump two into the extra deck over here. So lets you basically set up, and once again, we're going to go ahead and send Rafflesia, and then the following turn, we're going to go ahead and add the ultimate card, which basically lets us go ahead and Z-Arc our opponent. So that's going to go ahead and activate that effect, but he's going to go ahead and activate Rebellious, He's going to go ahead and summon it the Morning Star, which lets him go ahead, if he wants to, pop everything or special summon another monster. But the Floor D-List is coming out, and that automatically negates this card's, well, negates whatever he wants to negate when he can special summon from the hand. So they have a little bit of disruption. At the end of the day, it's not a super negate-heavy deck. It's just like an anti-extra deck. But then Supreme King Z-Arc is even better for this, and now he just like destroyed that guy's extra deck, and that's going to go ahead and pretty much be game for him. He's going to get the effect of the AzneyesWhitedragon, go ahead and be able to summon another monster, and he's going to go ahead and just have to set a card. It doesn't really matter at this point because he's just going to go ahead and make it game, and go ahead and attack, and then he gets to bring out this card again. Pretty much, this card, once it comes out, it's difficult enough to deal with, and then to follow up with, okay, you get rid of it, now I've stopped your extra deck completely. Now, this is a pretty cool little duel over here. It goes back and forth for a while. The guy's playing some type of synchro variant of Lightsworn. I love seeing these kinds of really cool combo-heavy decks. But nonetheless, we've got the Excelsia over here, and then we've got the Dogmatic, so this is going to go ahead and let him pop cards, but Raiko's going to go ahead and get rid of the field spell, but he's able to go ahead and throw an AzneyesWhitedragon, which lets him special summon the Maximus, which goes ahead and lets him dump 2 cards from the extra deck every single turn. Basically, if this survives for like 1 turn, because you get the effect once, and then once again, if it survives, you'll have your combo ready to go for the Supreme King, and then you basically win most duels. With the exception of Kaijus, that's like one exception, and even then, remember that if you destroy it via other effects, obviously Kaijus are the main thing that like would be able to come back from it, because the card, again, it gets placed back into the Pendulum Zone with that awesome ability. So it's 4 dragons to go ahead and summon it. Which is, again, it's just 2 turns. Or there's a lot of cards in the deck's archetype where it's like you just send 1 from your extra deck. So it's really easy. So he's going to go ahead and Fusion Dispatch over here, reveal one of them, and then he's going to go ahead and summon the AzneyesWhitedragon and Excelsia, and the Adin is coming out over here. Relatively okay-ish cards over here to push for a little bit of extra damage. But, I mean, most of the cards are expendable in this archetype because you don't really need too much with this version of the deck, other than get that Miracle Synchro Fusion. And I was even thinking you can play multiple copies of that card, because if you set it and it's destroyed, you get to technically add another card. You get to draw one. That's part of the other effect that most people don't even know about, which we'll go over. But he's going to go ahead and summon Michael, and then go ahead and banish the AzneyesWhitedragon. Go ahead and attack into this for I don't know what reason. You probably didn't check that it has 3,000 defense. Again, the Maximus, it definitely can survive because it has a lot of stats in the defense zone, but he's going to go ahead and cycle through some cards, and then we've got the Dogmatic Nation, which once again you throw it on, and then if they battle, you just lose out under a monster. He's going to go ahead and get Lost Winded over here, so it's going to take a little bit less damage, so that definitely helped out, surprisingly. Over here. Then Miracle Synchro Fusion, you guys already know. Once this card comes out, popping everything over here, and this is kind of funny. Watch what's about to happen. So he's going to go ahead and activate Michael's effect. It doesn't really matter because he can literally put back every single Lightsworn card and heal up for it. He healed up for 4,200 life points. I mean, to be honest, he probably should have selected like every single Lightsworn. Did he actually select every single Lightsworn? I think he actually selected every single Lightsworn, but it doesn't really matter. Putting them all back isn't going to be any match because the card has 4,000 attack and this has 3,000 over because you can boost it up. But the last tool over here is pretty cool because it shows off how you can be a little bit faster with this deck. So you can mix in the spell books just because there are a few cards that are spellcaster in here, and most of the cards, again, they don't really do too much on board other than act as a monster that exists. Most of the time, Excelsia is just used for the search, and then this card is used to bring out another card. Like, they're not the most powerful monsters, and so after you get these search, like, honestly isn't too good. Like, Wonder Wand would even be like maybe a viable option here. But spellbooks can go relatively fast too, so you're going to go ahead and see Fusion Dispatch. He's going to go ahead and summon the Albus Nullius Filius over here, which is one of the cards that you need for, of course, the AzneyesWhitedragon. But he's going to go ahead and attack, move everything to defense position, and then we're going to go ahead and see a set of the Necro Fusion. So this is what I think is so absolutely cool. You can surprise your opponent because, again, Maximus, just 2 turns, or basically, if he survives 1 turn, you'll get that effect. or you can go ahead and activate other cards that search out the rest of the archetype and just go ahead and dump one. But the end phase over here is going to go ahead and get that effect, go ahead and summon the Excelsior, get a search out, and then on top of that, we've got the Necro Fusion over here, ready to go and surprise our opponent very soon. Because remember, we're going to go ahead and summon that Supreme King. So he goes and summon the Dark Rebellion. He's going to go and pop everything. Remember, his opponent cannot pop this card via effects or target it, so pretty much it comes out and it's getting rid of the board. There's very few things that can react to this card because, again, it can be targeted, cannot be destroyed, and it's got pretty much enough attack to deal with it. And Kaiju's the only like real out to this card, and if you Necro Fusion Surprise, blow up your opponent's board, it's not going to be too good. And you can definitely OTK in this deck because there are multiple cards like Cardinal that can have decent attack, although Cardinal might be a win harder card over here. But anyways, now that you have seen it in action, let me go ahead and give you guys the deck profile courtesy of Tsubasa over here. So some of the cards got messed up. A lot of them, there was multiple builds actually. Dragma, we need the Albus, what is it? Albius. Okay, so for some reason this picture is not loading in yet, but it eventually will load. But you want this card. This is kind of like a rough deck profile. And the reason why I say rough is because I can't take the deck via the extraction. Normally there's this really awesome feature. I feel like I'm trying to advertise for ADO Pro because their program is so awesome. I love this feature. So if I go to my replays, I can hit export decks and it'll just copy it over for myself, which is awesome here. But the thing is that if the replay breaks, the cards cannot be copied over. You'd have to manually go in and I guess know it via the picture. But here's like a rough start here. This is not the exact build because there were multiple cards that were put in different builds like Sales Pitch, which can let you search out anything. But for the most part, it's basically just one Zaborg and then pretty much most of the Dragmas. So 3 Fleur, 3 Maximus, 3 copies of Theo, 3 copies of Albius over here, although you can technically put less if you want to of any of these. Again, I'm just kind of going off of what I saw here, because again, I couldn't copy it. And then we have 3 copies of Excelsior. Well, this card you definitely want 3 copies of. Then we have 3 copies of Adden, 1 copy of Spoken Magician of Prophecy, and then 3 copies of the Disciple. This lets you send 1 monster from your extra deck, so it's really important over here. And then usually with Excelsior, you search out another copy of it, so you basically cycle through. And that's how you get your 2 cards in real easy. You activate 1, then you activate this to search out another one. Their effects are once per turn, but you follow up the next turn with the other one. And then Maximus over here lets you send double. So I think that that's kind of the go-to play. Heck, I'd throw Magical Mallet in here because, again, with Miracle Synchro Fusion, you basically just win the game. And then Fusion Dispatch lets you go ahead and reveal 1, and then you can go ahead and special summon one of them, which is going to be Albius in this case, because it lets you discard 1 card, and then you get to instantly go for that Fusion play for, of course, your Ashen Dragon. But then 2 copies of Knowledge over here, and the Miracle Synchro Fusion does have this bonus effect that I want to mention. If it's set and it's destroyed, you get to draw a card. I'd almost maybe think about playing 3 of these. That way you don't have to wait for your Rafflesia to go ahead and activate its effect. Or you can just run Necro Fusion too. I was thinking Necro Fusion is quite great because surprising your opponent with the Z-Arc is absolutely excellent, as you guys saw. And then we got 2 copies of Secrets, 2 copies of the Dogmatic Dragon, our Nation Dragma, and then Waking the Dragon, because you have so many good extra deck cards. This is an excellent card as well that you can go ahead and make some use of. Then Heavy Storm Dester over here, and then we have the Dragma Cannon. I was just actually thinking that Lightning Storm would probably be a better option. But sometimes with this deck, you do happen to have the Field Spell lingering. But nonetheless, this is another option. Just get rid of cards. Twin Twisters can also be a great option because usually just activating your end phase. I would just rather run Twin Twisters, but it was in there tactically in some of the plays, so I went ahead and just brought it out there to go ahead and mention. Then we have 2 copies of Dragma Encounter. This card I just kind of threw in here because he was playing Lost Wind, which you guys saw, but I think this card usually is better. It's a newer card. Lets you go ahead and take something that was special summoned from the extra deck, change its attack to 0, and negate its effects. And then, if your opponent special summons a monster from the extra deck while it's in your graveyard, except the turn it was sent to the graveyard, you get to reset this card. So it's really good for that ability. And then we have Necro Fusion, which I thought was excellent, and then the Dragon Punishment. For the extra deck, Z-Arc's the most important card, and the Starving Venom, then the Ashen Dragon, triple copies of those for Fleecia, Elder Entity and Chess, Clearwing, then we got the Clearwing Synchro Dragon, we got the one of them Supreme, just keep that in mind too, and the Clearwing Fast Dragon, Red Raptor Ultimate Falcon for your Waking the Dragon target, Dark Rebellion, and then Supreme King Dragon Dark Rebellion over here. So that's kind of like a rough deck profile. Like I said, if you guys want to make some changes, let me know, because I kind of just roughly threw it together, because I couldn't export the deck. But anyways, thanks for tuning, guys, and shout out to my boy Subasa for hooking me up with the plays as well as his really cool build, because it's like adding a boss monster to a deck that I guess if you want to consider Maximus their boss monster, Maximus, as well as there is another card that I actually wanted to mention, which is Cardinal. Cardinal has this effect where you can target 4 Fusion, Synchro, Xyz, and or Link monsters in the graveyards, which includes your opponents over there. You special summon it, and then you get to banish them. And then if it battles a special monster, you can destroy as many attack-based monsters. I feel like this card is maybe a win harder card. You can definitely throw in a copy of it if you want. I don't know if I'd want to throw in 3. Because again, you really want to get this effect of banishing your own. I guess this helps banishing your opponents, but sometimes they just don't have the option to, because there's just not enough targets. But this could be another good card for the deck too, if you wanted to consider it a boss monster. I definitely think it's possible. But this is a way better card because it can't be targeted, cannot be destroyed, and if they get rid of it, which no one did, it goes in the Pendulum Zone, and then it stops all of your opponent's extra deck cards pretty much. Except for Link monsters, because at the time I don't think they existed. But anyways, really good stuff indeed. And on top of that, when they search a card, you just get to go and pop it. Anyways, thanks for tuning in, guys. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. If you did, drop a like on it. If you're new here, make sure you guys subscribe, turn on that bell so you don't miss out on cool Yu-Gi-Oh replays. And if you guys want to send me any other replays, just like my boy Subasa, once again, shout out to you and thank you. Send it to AzneyesReplays@gmail.com to be featured on the channel. But thanks for tuning in, guys, and I'll catch you in the next video. And I'm out. Peace.